Broncos country, what is popping, my people? We are live and ready to go, man, on this beautiful Wednesday. Hope you guys are all having a great day today, productive day, enjoying the nice weather we got in the next couple of days. I don't know if you guys saw it too, man. We got the Broncos game. I think this Sunday it's going to be like 57 degrees and sunny. It's going to be beautiful because when the sun's out and it's 57, it's just warm. And it's going to be -5 in Green Bay. So definitely a good thing that this is a home game. That's for sure because it was freezing cold up there in Green Bay as usual. But Denver, we're getting great weather, man. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But the Broncos are cooking right now. 10 straight games. But this is the stretch of the season that I think we've all been really waiting for. We've all been anxious and anticipating to see because not only is it the important stretch leading into the playoffs, but man, it's 4 good opponents, 4 really good games. I'm super excited to see how we look among the best teams in the NFL, and I would say the Packers are definitely there. And it's actually pretty dang insane when I pull up. I'll pull up some things here, share the screen, but it's pretty crazy, like just how even the Broncos and the Packers are in a lot of different areas, man. So it is pretty damn cool. But good news, we're going to start off with first and foremost is check out the tweet from Mike Klis today, man. Getting healthier. The Broncos nose tackle, DJ Jones, left guard, Ben Powers, and tight end Nate Atkins return to practice in limited capacity. All right, this is amazing news. I don't expect for Ben Powers to obviously play this week, but man, that is big to get our original starting guard back after he tore his biceps earlier in the year. I think for this game, though, Nate Atkins and DJ Jones are going to be massive, especially DJ Jones, because this Packers team, man, they love to run the ball. They're very good at it, especially with Josh Jacobs, who's got a history of just going crazy here in Denver against us. So it's awesome. So the Powers' 21-day practice window is opened. He's been out since after the Week 5 win with doubt that he plays, just like I had said. Atkins has been out since Week 8 versus the Cowboys. And then I guess wide receiver Pat Bryant moved to the side rehab field after the walkthrough. He's battled a hamstring last week, so he's hopefully just maintenance work for that. Seems like that's going to be the case, but hamstrings are finicky, man. So I really want them to be cautious with Pat Bryant for sure, because you pull the hamstring and then all of a sudden you're out into the playoffs at least. So, but really good news on the injury front, which is always welcome this time of year. And I think the Ben Powers news is really significant too, because even though we kind of anticipated him potentially being able to make it, I saw this interesting article from PFF, not really surprised, but for many, many weeks now, the Broncos have actually been the rated per PFF. And I'll say something about PFF. There's some grades that I like, other things I don't really take them too seriously for. Offensive line grades, they do a really damn good job with that. Offensive line specifically. But they, for like the 6th or 7th consecutive week, I think we've had the #1 rated O-line all year. I think it's been one of the biggest reasons we've been successful. Garrett Bowles, quietly the best left tackle in football, all-pro, first-team all-pro. Make him a first-team all-pro. Palczewski's done a wonderful job. That guy is just – that's why my guy Kodiak buys his jersey, man, because Palczewski's nice like that. He can play anywhere. Phil Lynn does a great job. But Luke Wattenberg's taken a massive step, obviously earned that huge contract extension. Quinn Miners, one of the best guards in football, and Mike McGlinchey's been steady Eddie. He's been really good there on the right side for us as well. So our unit is incredible. And if you look at something that all of these top-rated units have in common, they're all pretty dang good teams, right? You got the Rams up there. You got the Bears up there. Obviously, the Colts O-line's really good, but with their terrible luck with injuries, they're going to be falling off of a cliff. Surprisingly, here you go, the Bills. They're up there. So all these teams that are up there are pretty dang good, except for the Commanders. But, you know, the top guys, you can see. Here's another interesting thing. You go down here at number 22, and this is where the Green Bay Packers are. And this, my friends, in my opinion, is going to be where we're going to have the biggest advantage against the Green Bay Packers this upcoming week. Their O-line has not been all that good, specifically their rookie Anthony Belton here, who I think was drafted originally to be a tackle, but they put him in at right guard. He's really struggled. Their center's not done the best job. I'm pretty sure he's a fill-in backup. Aaron Banks hasn't been good. Rasheed Walker, they said had a really good game last week against the Bears, but overall, he's just been all right. Like, he hasn't been all that good this year either. Their best lineman by far is Zach Tom, their right tackle. So we have a really big advantage against the Packers there. Whereas otherwise, if you look at this, it's pretty insane. Like, this is a sports betting dime. I'm a huge fan of this website. I would check them out. It's pretty cool. You can kind of see, like, where's most of the money going to be, the money line bets, all that kind of stuff. With it, they take into account all of the different sports books, but they really do a good job with, like, their predicted score. They have a really unique formula with how they use that, their win probability, all that kind of stuff. So, they have it as essentially a 50-50 game. Their win probability is 55-45, but their predicted score is basically, even. So, but here's the cool thing. Like, when you look at them head to head, look how even these teams are. Points per game, there's 1 point between the two. Yards per game, there's 2 yards between the two. Passing yards per game, 3-yard difference. Rush yards per game, 4-yard difference. Turnovers committed, they've done a really good job of not turning the ball over. We've committed a few more. Points per game allowed, just a 1 point difference. Yards per game allowed, a 5-yard difference. It's astonishing just how similar these two teams are, man. And then turnovers forced, they have a couple more than us. So that's the thing. I think our big advantage is going to be our D-line versus their O-line. And it's not like their D-line's anything to snarf at. They have a very good defensive line, but I just think our offensive line is always going to give us an advantage. But they have the advantage in the turnover battle. They're +4 as a team. We're -3 as a team. So definitely, and we talked about this, like, the Broncos need to be better at forcing turnovers. We've only forced 10 the entire year. It's less than 1 per game. So that's going to be something that I would certainly like to see the Broncos turn around during the stretch, and I think could be the big equalizer. And it usually is the big equalizer when you've got two teams that are so dang evenly matched, right? What's up, Daniel Barris, Sports Highlight? What's going on, man? Happy Wednesday to you. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a really nice day so far. So, yeah, getting back into this, man, like, this is going to be a really awesome test for us, for the Packers. I think it honestly should be, like, I'm pretty sure Romo and Jim Nantz are doing this game. It's like the highlight afternoon game ones. Thought maybe it could get flexed into the Sunday night spot or whatever, but I'm not sure who they have. But anyways, I think it's going to be a really great game, very entertaining game, but a great litmus test for this Broncos team. If you look at the defense, one area that they could definitely get got in is if teams are really adamant about running the football, up the guts of this defense, they can have success. Washington kind of showed that. The Raiders tried to emulate it a little bit last week, but the Raiders are just horrible at running the football. But we've seen it. We've seen it at spurts, right? Jonathan Taylor kind of got the best of us earlier in the year. So we need to make sure, man, first and foremost, we're bottling up Josh Jacobs, and we are putting it all squarely on the shoulders of Jordan Love. Now, that doesn't mean that Jordan Love can't beat you by himself. He certainly can. They've got the weapons. They're getting healthy there. But I want to unleash our pass rushers against their O-line. I think that there's a lot of areas of opportunity for us to be able to get to the quarterback, rush Jordan Love, get some sacks, and hopefully force some turnovers. It's tough, though, this week because Jordan Love is among the best in the NFL in terms of giving the ball away. He only has 4 interceptions on the season to 22 touchdowns. So he does a very good job of protecting the football, being efficient. And so it's going to be a good test for the defense. A game I'm really looking forward to seeing, man. And I think can really uplift the morale of this team for us to keep rolling. We can make it 11 straight against a really good opponent. Hey, man, we're going to be rolling. But I love it. I'm super excited for it. And all good stuff there. Let's see if there's anything. Bo Nix is talking now. They haven't revealed the official injury report yet. So if they do that while I'm live, we'll go over it. But what it looks like is DJ Jones and Nate Atkins are both going to be limited. Ben Powers opening up the 21-day practice window. He was limited today. So can't wait to get him back. Just recapping what we talked about earlier. And Pat Bryant, after the walkthrough, he was off to the rehab, kind of nursing that hamstring still. So hopefully just some maintenance stuff. Otherwise, it looks pretty dang good to go. And DJ Jones is back. Yeah, did I mention that? I think I mentioned DJ Jones is back. Earlier I did. So he was limited today as well. So really good news. Someone that we're certainly going to need in this game. So again, guys, what do I want to see, man? I think this is going to be a game where The turnover is going to make the difference, and maybe if you can make another play on special teams like we did last week, that would be huge. But I'd like to see Marvin, speaking of specialties, I'd like to see Marvin Mims get involved more. I'd like to see the Broncos continue to run this under center style of offense where, 12, 13 personnel sometimes, running the rock, being physical, wearing teams down. I've always said it, man. That's not only my favorite style of play, but like the best style of play that you can play at mile high, at altitude. Just wearing these teams out. If we have 72 offensive plays like we had last week against the Packers, we should be able to handle them pretty easily because come that fourth quarter, they are going to be exhausted and they're not going to want to have anything to do with blocking our O-linemen and blocking the running back. So yes, that would be massively big if we're able to do that. T-Fishes, what did you miss? Not too much, man. We just went over the latest injury report. Looks like Ben Powers is getting ready to return soon. Not necessarily this week, but his 21-day practice window is open. We just went over some of that, and we talked about the offensive line. I'll pull it back up for you because T-Fishes is special. He's one of the GOATs. The offensive line ranks and how the Packers per PFF are 22. They've actually gone down 2 spots. Biggest weaknesses are definitely the interior and their left tackle, Rasheed Walker. It's going to be a lot of areas of opportunity for us there, whereas the Broncos are number 1. So we just talked about that being the biggest advantage that I think that we have, right? Because, again, so evenly matched across the board. Where we're ranked offensively, where we rank defensively, points per game on both sides, yards allowed in both the run and the pass, how much yards we pass for versus them. It's crazy how even both of these teams are, and obviously the records, are very similar as well. They're 9-3-1. We're 11-2, so it's going to be a really good battle, man. And I think that it's going to be one of those games that's win or loss is going to really prep us very well for the postseason and for the postseason run because, we're playing for seeding, so we got a lot that we're playing for. We're obviously looking to clinch a playoff spot as well, and the Packers got a lot that they're riding on as well. They're trying to keep the Detroit Lions in their rearview mirror, and the Chicago Bears, who they play again next week, and trying to win their division and get higher seeding as well. So this game is massively important for both teams. What you'd expect, right? 2 good teams playing in December. That's typically what you expect. My fault. So yeah, that's kind of what we had talked about, and excited to see how our secondary matches up against their receivers. My big concern, and we're lucky that we don't have Tucker Kraft, but my big concern is that they don't really have a bona fide number 1 receiver. Sometimes I feel like from a game plan standpoint, that makes it a little bit easier because you just put PS2 on him and then you let everybody else handle their assignments depending on who they're going up against. This one, it's going to be, I think, a lot more base looks where PS2's on one side of the field, Riley's going to be on the other, and we're just going to have to cover. And they have a lot of weapons, man. They are like, again, they don't have a bona fide number 1 receiver, but they've got a lot of really good receivers. Kind of similar to how I view Denver's room in a way. So, Romeo Doubs is their major target guy, especially on third downs, especially in the red zone. You got to look out for Romeo. Christian Watson now has been great since he's been back. He's going to take the top off over a defense, so he's someone that can blow a game open. He's kind of their version of Marvin Mims in a way. Matthew Golden now has really been relegated. He's had kind of a rough season, hasn't really been able to find his stride, but he's there. They got Dontavion Wicks, who's really their big slot receiver, really good blocking receiver, a guy that can make a lot of plays. And they got Jaden Reed back, that's actually going to be more like the Marvin Mims, whereas Christian Watson's maybe more of their Troy Franklin. And the way that they run it is Christian Watson is really he's strictly an outside guy for the most part. Romeo Doubs as well, but he kind of plays in the slot a little bit more. They kind of move him everywhere. And so it's kind of everywhere. Matthew Golden, when he's on the field, he's on the outside. So there's a lot of them, man. They got a lot of different weapons, and Luke Musgrave is not somebody that you can sneeze at either. He's out there been making some plays at the tight end position, which we know is kind of a weak link for us. So they can get us in a lot of different areas. I think we have the secondary to be able to match up with anybody, but it's really going to be put to the test this week. And I think you're going to see a lot of dime from us, especially on pass downs, where they can get we can match up. You can put like Jade Barron and McMillan and Riley Moss and PS2 obviously on the field all at the same time with a couple of safeties. They're going to probably try to want to keep us in nickel, because if they keep us in nickel and they keep Singleton and Greenlaw both on the field, they can find some mismatches there. Like some teams have kind of been trying to do lately. And Hufanga's obviously going to be a major key to this game too. So I love the way that both teams match up against each other. I think it's going to be like a grind of a game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. Something, in the 16-13, 20 to 16 type of range. I think it's going to be a little bit lower, but I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think, man. Have you noticed, Bo, against zone coverage? The Packers run 78% zone. That's actually a very interesting stat. I didn't know they ran zone that much. So that kind of sucks in a way, because many times it limits Bo's ability to take off. Like when teams play man and they turn their backs to him, he'll just take off running and be able to get with his legs. So that might make it a little bit more difficult. I feel like I remember Bo was really making a lot of strides in zone, and then he had a little bit of a rough stretch, and he's been doing a lot better lately because teams have been trying to play him in zone. So listen, as long as his footwork stays clean, he doesn't look like he's rushing, doing those phantom climbs and going through his progressions like he has been the last month of the season, I think he's going to be able to pick apart the zone, no doubt about it. He's just being really smart and all about the timing there. So a lot of the zone it's so important for the receivers too. Like they need to be on the same page as Bo and be able to find those soft spots. I do think, and I feel pretty confident about it. Some of it's a feeling, but I do feel like Evan Ingram is going to be the leading receiver for us in this game. He's going to be the main focal point of the Broncos offense, because he can create a lot of mismatches for this defense. And if you're talking about zone, he's the guy that can really beat zone. So that actually goes right into what I was thinking. And yeah, absolutely, man. You got to stop Josh Jacobs and this team. The thing about the Packers too, man, is they come from the Shanahan system. Matt LaFleur is from the Shanahan bloodlines, and he runs that to a T. Like they will not veer away from running the football. They don't care if they're down a little bit. They will continue to run it, and they'll be successful doing it. So yeah, we gotta be really good stopping the run, no doubt about it. And I think we can be, but it makes it tougher. Like this is going to be a game that our inside linebackers, which we always talk about, is probably the weakness of the defense. There's going to be a lot of stress on those guys, a lot, because they're going to have to play really well on the run, but then you're going to have those play action boots that we were running a lot last week, that we're very familiar with from our Shanahan days. The play action boots, they're going to have them running in space, and they're going to try to isolate, one or both of those linebackers in coverage. So that's going to be the big thing I'm worried about. We're going to see how Singleton and Greenlaw and Sternad, how they end up responding, how Vance Joseph adjusts too. I'd like to see Vance maybe run like three safeties, like maybe really put Hufanga in the box in place of a linebacker, because he could play the run pretty well, and if you need him to cover, he's a little bit more capable of doing that. So I doubt that they will, but it would be interesting to see that, because you got somebody in PJ Locke that can still play safety, that can be really solid for you on the back end should you need it. He's obviously very experienced. So I've always kind of liked the idea of that. I know we do that a lot in the red zone, especially when it's an obvious passing situation in the red zone. We like to bring in a couple extra DBs and go that way. But yeah, the run game is going to be a major key too, man, on both sides. Like we need to be able to run the football. Let me pull up the stats for them. They're pretty decent against the run. Again, like two teams that are very similarly ranked. Just to give you an example, we're ranked 10th in total offense from a yards perspective, which is stupid. The Packers are 13th. There's a 2 yards per game difference. Passing defense, they're 223 a game. We're at 220 per game is what we pass for. Surprisingly, we run for 121 yards per game on average. And they run for 117. So we've actually been a better running team than them. And then they average 24 points offensively. We average 23.7. And then on the defensive side, we're third, they're fifth. And points per game, we're fourth, they're sixth. So very similar. And we allow 89 yards rushing, and they allow 101. So a little bit of an advantage there. And we allow 193 yards passing. That's pretty damn good, man. And they actually allow quite a bit more. I think they're a little bit lower. Where are they? Oh no, they're better than us in terms of their pass defense overall. So super. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Like they don't really have any glaring weaknesses either. So it's really gonna be a lot of good on good, which I like a lot. So T Fish is again saying, I feel like our O-line will do well against their front, but I'm not sure if we can get too much pressure on Love considering he's getting the ball out quickly. Yeah, for sure. And that's why stopping the run is going to be so important, because you want to put him in third and long situations where you can actually get after the passer. But they do have, man, they've got some vulnerabilities on their O-line. I think their right tackle's given up quite a bit of sacks. Their right guard has given up a lot of sacks, a lot of pressures. And if you can speed up Jordan Love a little bit, then you can get him to be a little inaccurate and miss on some of those. But it does make it tough because he wants to get rid of the ball quickly. He does a good job of doing it. And he's got a lot of weapons that can get open in short areas. So I'm curious how we're going to do it. If we're going to stick with our man, if we're going to go into a lot more zone, how we're going to go against them. So we'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. He said they lost to the Eagles because the Eagles rushed all game. Zach Bond shut down the run, hoping we can do the same. Yeah, man, it makes it a lot easier when you try to take away the identity of the opponent. And so that's going to be major. I'm telling you, like, this is going to be a game where our inside linebackers are either going to show that maybe they've been vastly underrated, and that the Greenlaw signing was really paying dividends, or it's going to be a glaring weakness for us. That's what I'm concerned about. Can they play good enough in both the pass and the run to be able to make us successful? So we'll see. We will see. I wanted to see the NFL Red Zone defense. It's not always the best websites to find it, but again, over the course of the last 3 games, well, I guess not. So still for the season, we are the best team in the red zone defensively. So we're really good in the red zone, whereas Green Bay, they allow touchdowns 58.3% of the time. We allow touchdowns 40%. So we've got a little bit of an advantage there. And then I wanted to see, I want to see if we can find the defensive side in the red zone. I don't know if they have it here. If someone wants to pull it up, because I feel like that's been such a big thing. Like offensively, we've been good in terms of finishing drives and scoring touchdowns. Not so much last week, but we've been really good in the red zone on offense. And our defense in the red zone is ridiculous. So that's been so good. And it was a big advantage that we had against the Chiefs, and it really proved the difference in that game. So yeah, I'm excited about seeing that. Let's see if we can go back. Yeah, I know I've seen the offensive one. If somebody has it, let me know. I'd love to know where we're at in terms of red zone. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see it. But last I remember, we were pretty dang good in the red zone. I'm just curious where the Packers are. So if anybody can find that, that'd be cool. Let's see. another thing, here's another one that I found that's I think extremely important is Green Bay's number one in the NFL, number one on third downs, 50.6% for the entire season on third down. That is pretty damn impressive. The Broncos are 12th at 40%, so there's a 10% difference. So that's pretty big. Yep, that's right. We are number one in red zone defense. But that's going to be the big thing, man. Can we get the Green Bay Packers off the field? That's been a big part of their successes. They've been so good on third downs, and I think we know that. I know that we know that. If I just figured that out, then they definitely know it. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Real interesting stuff to see. Yeah. Well, that's all I really got for y'all, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a fun live. I don't go live as often as I like, but I've been trying to make a concerted effort to do it more. I do love interacting with y'all. I do love kind of doing things off the cuff. Most of my videos are like that anyways, but it's fun to kind of just go on and chat it up. But I'm going to wrap it up, man. Excited about this Broncos and Packers game. I'm going to be releasing some of the keys to the game, some more film reviews as it pertains specifically to this matchup for the rest of this week coming up. So stay tuned for that. I will be out of town. I'm going to Mexico on Sunday. I'll be landing an hour before kickoff, so hopefully I'll catch it from there. So it might be a little bit out of pocket for the next few days after that, but should be fun. Anyways, appreciate y'all. You have a wonderful day, man. Go Broncos as always, and peace.